Everybody, and welcome back to another Game News Roundup, where we go over the latest gaming news, sales figures, and any other gaming industry news and whatnot. We have a few things to go over today, which is being recorded live on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrunksWD, and if you enjoy this, watching this on YouTube, feel free. I usually stream on Mondays and Wednesdays evenings, usually 6:30, 7 p.m. Eastern start time. And yes, say hi to YouTube, people, the few people who are here at the moment. First things first with the gaming news. The Super Mario Brothers movie. I mean, it's gaming. It's based off a video game franchise, okay? It counts, okay? It's close enough. Has shattered records and earned $377 million in its 5-day opening. Smashing records. Worldwide, $377 million worldwide. Smashing ridiculous records. Also, it's not available everywhere yet worldwide. Like, it's not out in Japan yet. And I think some other countries. But it's out in most of the world at this point. The movie earned $204.6 million in its 5-day opening domestically. Domestic being U.S. and Canada together. And $377 million worldwide, according to a report from Variety. Yeah, the movie has set many records, including the highest-grossing debut of 2023, beating the previous record holder for this year, being Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which earned $225 million worldwide in its opening. Mind you, Mario Brothers did open up last Wednesday, so this is a 5-day opening. Well, most movies usually open up on a Friday, or you say they have the previews Thursday night, the night before, which usually gets moved into the Friday figures, maybe? I'm not totally sure on that. So yeah, Universal's president of domestic distribution, Jim Orr, to quote, "The box office just kept growing and growing." Yeah, as the weekend kept going, the estimate of how much it was going to earn just kept going up. Every day did better and better than expected, and just kept going up, up, and up, and up. It's a tremendous worldwide debut, and the movie has a clear runway. Yes, the movie is pretty much guaranteed to break $1 billion at the box office at this point. And in its first weekend alone, it's almost the highest-grossing video game movie of all time in its first week. Absolutely crazy. I believe the record is highest-grossing video game movies. I want to say it's Warcraft at $439 million. It earned $377 million in its opening. Let's just say by the end of next weekend, it'll have easily surpassed Warcraft and then some. To say the least. Absolutely crazy figures. And we've got a list of some of its records it has broken. And by some, I mean a lot. So yeah, it's the highest grossing debut of 2023. Domestically, internationally, outside the US and Canada markets, and globally. Is the biggest 5-day opening ever of all time. Overtaking 2009's Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, which earned $200 million. But, of course, to note, this stat is specifically for movies that open on a Wednesday for its 5 days. So, there are some movies that had 3-day weekends that were bigger. Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, and Spider-Man No Way Home. $250 million plus over their 3 days. Again, this is domestic figures, not worldwide. It's also the highest-grossing debut ever for Illumination, beating 2015's Minions and its 3-day opening weekend of $115 million. It's the second biggest debut ever for an animated movie, outpacing Finding Dory in its 3-day opening weekend of $135 million, and following Incredibles 2 and its 3-day opening of $183 million. It is the highest-grossing debut for a video game adaptation, by a lot. With the previous record was 2022 Sonic 2 with $72 million. Internationally, so excluding U.S. and Canada, it was the biggest opening of 2023. Second biggest opening animated movie of all time, behind Frozen 2's $228 million. Biggest Illumination opening of all time, and the biggest video game opening of all time. And global, worldwide, domestic and international combined. Again, biggest opening of the year. And the highest Illumination opening of all time, passing 2013's Despicable Me 2 at $208 million. And the biggest video game opening of all time, eclipsing, as they say, 2016's Warcraft at $210 million. So yeah, $377 million worldwide. It's a bit bigger than the $210 million record set by Warcraft, which I'm pretty sure the main reason Warcraft did so well was China. That was by far its biggest market. I'm fairly certain. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Let me know. But I'm fairly certain. Also, the highest animated opening ever for IMAX with $21.6 million. Not bad for IMAX. I mean, I wouldn't have thought this would have been an IMAX. I'm thinking, are there any IMAX screens around here? There is a movie theater that's nearish me that has an IMAX screen, but it's not really a full IMAX screen. I've been to some places that have like a real IMAX screen where it's like this huge curved versus like a movie theater that has a slightly bigger screen they consider IMAX. But yeah, lots of records broken with the Super Mario Brothers movie. And I could say pretty much guaranteed, barring the numbers absolutely plummeting in week 2, mind you, family movies, kid-friendly movies, usually have slower drop-offs than like the big, let's say, Avengers, Marvel movies, or superhero movies usually do. So generally speaking, these types of movies have stronger legs than a lot of other movies out there. So we will see. Let's just say by the end of sometime probably even during the week, and before we get to next week, I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes the highest grossing movie of all time. As you can see, the top 5 are all within $40 million of each other. Warcraft, $439 million, all the way down to Uncharted, $401 million. And then Mario Brothers movie, well, yeah, it's breaking absolutely insane records. I'm not surprised. I knew it was going to do well. Like, it's Mario. It's like, it's going to be the first mega hit. Like, before we had any figures, I'm like, it has a chance to break $1 billion. Not guaranteed. Now I'm like, pretty much guaranteed to break $1 billion worldwide. Absolutely crazy figures. But remember, it is Mario. Mario is the most recognized game character out there. He's been around since, what, the 80s. I think he was originally known as Jumpman in Donkey Kong, in the arcade game Donkey Kong. But I mean, I've heard mixed things about the movie. Like, critics were like, there's not much of a story. Like, it's a Mario movie, and people who are Mario fans like, oh, if you like Mario, you're gonna love the movie. You're gonna enjoy it. It's a fun ride. It's got a lot of references. I mean, the trailer did show it has at least at some point a Mario Kart section. There's like, or whatever. Also, I haven't seen it yet. I do plan on seeing it at some point. It might be the first time I go to a movie theater since Avengers Endgame. I haven't been in the movies since that. There hasn't been no movie where I'm just like, I want to see it. This feels like that. This seems like kind of the movie I'm like, I enjoy Mario. It seems like a fun movie to go see in the theater, so I might do it. I'm trying to think of other movies upcoming that I might see. I don't know. I mean, technically, I'm almost half tempted to go see Return of the King. It's being shown in select theaters for its 20th anniversary. The extended cut, although I could just watch that at home. I don't know. But also, Lord of the Rings. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, Super Mario Brothers movie absolutely smashing records, insane figures. Also, have you seen it? What did you think of it? Did you enjoy it? Does it deserve its mixed review? You know, some of the mixed reviews by the critics, or do you think like the Mario fans who are loving it? Do you think it's worth that? Also, yeah, I do expect it to have decent enough legs. So yeah, $1 billion is probably pretty much guaranteed. I'm not gonna say 100% guaranteed because you never know. But I expect it to have decent enough legs, especially if kids who enjoy the movie will take their parents to see the movie again, or say parents with their kids, parents who grew up with Mario and got their kids into Mario and stuff. It's kind of like, you know, the Disney effect. The parents who love Disney, they got their kids into Disney, and then the cycle repeats. If you know what I mean. I feel like Mario and Nintendo is the Disney of video games in a way. If you look at, you know, their type of games and stuff being more family friendly than, say, the first party games from PlayStation or Xbox overall. Anyways, so yeah, Mario Brothers movie, $377 million in its 5-day opening worldwide. Absolutely smashing records. Insane. A couple more things we're going to talk about real quick. There is a report from research firm, I can totally speak, Omdia, in its own research, they're expecting the lifetime sales of Valve's Steam Deck to surpass 3 million units sometime in 2023. The report from them claims that the Steam Deck sold 1.62 million units in 2022, and they expect sales to be up 14% in 2023 to 1.85 million units for a total of... let me just do the math here. I can do this, right? 1.62 plus 1.85. 3.47 million by the end of this year is what they're estimating sales to be, which I know some people are saying, man, that's really bad sales, but it's a portable PC, or I can tell you it's Linux, but it's pretty much a portable PC with, you know, controller, attack. You know what I mean? It's not specifically targeting, like, say, the Switch is sold over 122 million units worldwide at this point, lifetime, So it's kind of hard to say, like, is this good, is this bad? It depends. What was Valve expecting to sell? I mean, I wouldn't say this is bad, I wouldn't say this is great, but how much are they producing? I mean, yeah, the Steam Deck does top the Steam charts pretty much every week. However, the Steam charts are revenue based, and the Steam Deck is what, $500 or more, I believe. So by revenue, it's like, all right, well, a $500 device versus a $60 cheaper game. Not surprising the Steam Deck tops or is near the top of the Steam charts every week since it's released. But I would say it could potentially come to 3.5 million units sold is decent enough. And if you're wondering why we don't, here at VGChartz, we don't do actual estimates of the Steam Deck, it's sold directly through Valve, and we have no access to that data to report on ourselves. So we're not going to, like, just spitball numbers and be like, well, we think. We like to have enough data before we do estimates on figures, which is why we mainly focus on Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo at this point for the hardware, and doing reporting on those monthly versus weekly now, with more data available, waiting that extra few weeks. And also we've stopped doing our software estimates several years ago, reporting only on official shipment/sold figures from publishers and developers. So yeah, Steam Deck potentially looking to get past 3 million units sold by the end of this year, potentially up to 3.5 million sold. What do you think? Is that good? Is that bad for the Steam Deck? I don't know. It depends what you're expecting. To me, I'm like, yeah. I was thinking maybe a little bit more than that, 4 or 5 million, but I was not expecting it to be like, tens of millions for what it is of a device. Yeah, you think it's fine, exactly, because it's not like there's exclusive games for it. It plays your Steam games. That's the difference. It plays your games on Steam. Basically it's a portable computer. I know it's Linux, but you can't technically install Windows on it. Valve doesn't give a crap one way or the other. But yeah, your games that you own on Steam are now playable on there. Although some games won't run very well. Some games are better than others. That's why they have the Steam Verified. I personally don't have a Steam Deck. If I did portable gaming more often, if I would travel more and stuff, I probably would own one. But I don't really travel enough where it makes sense to spend the money on one. But yeah, I think it's fine. I do agree. It's not like it's like, oh, it hasn't even sold 1 million. No, it's, potentially to 3.5 million by the end of this year. I think that's different. Decent. One last quick thing. Joseph Staten is leaving Xbox and Microsoft. If you don't know Joseph Staten, he worked at Bungie and was the cinematic director on the original Halo trilogy, and was also the head of creative on Halo Infinite. He did confirm on Twitter, hey folks, I am indeed leaving Microsoft. I'll have more info to share soon, but for now, I'd just like to thank all my Xbox colleagues for all their understanding and support as I embark on a new adventure. So yeah, he started working at Bungie in the 1990s. Again, responsible for writing, editing, and directing cutscenes on the original Halo trilogy. He stayed with Bungie after they split, but left Bungie in 2013 and rejoined Microsoft in 2014, not to work on Halo or anything, but to work at Xbox Game Studios, publishing specifically. And then after that E3 showing of Halo Infinite in 2020, with its not great showing, as you know, the head, Bonnie Ross, the head of 343 Industries, asked him, hey, can you please help us write this ship? Not just to, do a quick, hey, give us ideas if you want to just help a little bit. He actually came full on, took control, more or less, of creative of Halo Infinite to help write the ship of Halo Infinite. And Halo Infinite, of course, as you know, launched in 2021. It was missing some features, which have now been mostly re-added. Except split-screen co-op, I think, is the one thing they haven't re-added. Although they did finally add an actual co-op, even if it's not split-screen, which it's a bit of a shame. Halo is known for split-screen co-op, and then, Halo 5 didn't have it, which was a big bummer. And then, of course, they cut it again on Halo Infinite. But then again, it could be because the Halo Infinite is on the Xbox One. Although you would think, well, we couldn't get split-screen to work on the Xbox One. But if you have a Series X or S, if it worked on them, they should at least get to work on one of the two consoles. I know Microsoft wants content parity between Xbox, if a game is on Xbox One and Series X and S, but I feel like there's some leeway there where it's if it works, if split screen works on the Series X and S, but not on the Xbox One where it's too laggy. Just add the Series X, and it's fine. I'm sure people understand, like, hey, we're sorry, we got it to work here. We have not been able to get it to work as up to their standard, to say, But, yeah. Just letting you know that he is leaving. Now, we'll see what happens at 343 Industries. As we all know, there's been a lot of issues at 343. Hopefully, with new leadership in place, the future of Halo is looking somewhat better. Microsoft did lay off a bunch of employees, and I think pretty much it was just 343 Industries who was hit hard out of all the gaming studios at Xbox. Most of them had like a few layoffs here and there, but it's mainly in marketing, I think. Nothing major other than at 343, which a lot of the campaign team was laid off. So we'll see how things go in the future. And I hope they're able to write Halo and like the next Halo game, Halo 7, Halo Infinity. I don't know. I don't know. Is a great game from launch and stuff. But we will see how things go. I mean, Halo Infinite, they have added a lot of new features that should have been there at launch, but at least they've added it. So, and there is rumors that 343 is swapping to Unreal Engine 5 for the next Halo game, which I think is probably a good idea at this point. I mean, the hardest thing would be making a Unreal Engine game still feel like Halo, like the physics of Halo and all the things that make Halo feel Halo. Like that's probably gonna be the hardest thing, but it'll definitely be. The game will probably look better because I know the Slip Space engine that they use for Halo is not the best engine. It's a lot of old stuff in there. And of course, the other issue is that people come into Microsoft, they have no experience with the Slip Space engine, so it takes them a long time to learn it. Versus Unreal Engine, which I think just pretty much most game developers know how to work Unreal Engine, have some experience with it. But anyways, I think that's going to do it for the Game News Roundup for today. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time for some more gaming news, game sales, and gaming industry details. So, thank you all so much for watching. See you all next time.